Hello and welcome to Nug&Cymek Review DC Comics, the new 52, where every week Nug and I review every single one of the DC titles. I'm Andrew Cymek.
And I'm Nug, and we are in our third week of the twos.
Third week of the twos. I'm really excited about this week. A lot of Bat books.
Yeah, and I'm really excited this week because we have a really good series of books, plus two of the most controversial books of the new 52. Both Red Hood and Catwoman are out this week.
Number twos.
Two. Let's get started. Here we go with Captain Atom, issue number 2. Captain Atom, which ended with him blowing up as he absorbed the energy of a volcano.
Yes.
And some sort of weird thing happening in an alley that was like weird organic-y grossness.
Yeah.
So here he pulls himself together and he saved the day, but now, after he pulls himself together, it's all kinds of energy is coming his way, including everybody's tweets and texts and YouTube videos.
Which, you know, it was kind of interesting to be bombarded with a bunch of information.
Like we all are, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest problem with it is it seems like Captain Atom, the character, is a restructuring of a ton of other different characters.
He seems a lot like Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen.
Dr. Manhattan?
He seems a lot like Firestorm.
Firestorm?
He seems a lot like the old Captain Atom, which Dr. Manhattan was based on, if you know your Watchmen history. So there's a lot of stuff going on here.
And I said he actually felt like the Atom.
Oh yeah, at one point he does shrink himself and go into a kid's brain. Basically this issue is a whole lot of exposition to let you know that Captain Atom can do anything.
Right. His
power is that he can do anything, which really doesn't leave you a lot of room.
Yeah, I find the book is really trying to grasp at what it actually is. What kind of book it's going to be. It doesn't quite feel like number 1. It doesn't,
well, no, I don't know if the book knows if it's a sci-fi book or a superhero book or whatever. It's not that it's bad.
No.
It's just, it seems like it's aiming a lot of directions at the same time where it should get focused and go one way. Up next, Birds of Prey number 2. Birds of Prey, which we loved.
Really thought it was a great intro to the new team.
Yeah, fun characters. I think Starling had line of the week when we read it.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, I think Starling is perhaps, aside from Frankenstein, you know, my favorite character in the DC News.
Yeah, she is one of the newest creations of the 52, and she's great.
Yeah,
she's very good at planning. You see exactly why she's on the team.
Yeah.
That whole, like, you've got 10 seconds. And Canary's like, she means that I have 10 seconds. And she literally had just 10 seconds to do what she had to do.
And they introduced Katana as well, the new version of Katana, which is really great.
Which is really great, and I love Katana's husband being part of the story. What is Katana's husband is a bit of a mystery. It's pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, Black Canary does say, spoilers, that she's talking to her husband, who she believes is trapped in her sword. So, I mean, I think it's great. I think Dinah's interior monologues are really great when she's describing the team.
Mm-hmm.
I find that the book is really strong when they're piecing the team together.
Yeah. Whereas other books aren't so strong when they're piecing the team together.
Yes, we'll get to that. But overall, I think Birds of Prey is another solid outing. I'm enjoying the run.
I enjoy it too. Well, not a huge spoiler. It'll be up at the end. I mean, your last page is Poison Ivy.
That's right. So she's also joining the team. So we have Black Canary, Starling, Poison Ivy, and Katana as the new Birds of Prey.
Well, there might be more.
There might be more, but right now that's our roster.
Yeah, and it looks fun. I know you had issues, it was minor issues with Poison Ivy's costume.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer the green, but hey, you know, I mean, I have a bigger issue with Black Canary's costume. You said that in this issue you felt like
at one scene, in one particular scene, it actually looked great. Yeah, and you see, it's not shoulder pads; it's just colored shoulders.
Right.
So a lot of the shoulder pad issues are starting to go away from my critique of costumes because I see that it's just colors on your shoulders. Yeah. And if you're a covert team, what better color to have on your shoulders than yellow? Up next, DC Universe presents Deadman. Number 2. I do want to make it clear, this isn't Deadman number 2. Right. This is DC Universe presents. And this happens to be Deadman's story. An amazing piece of cover art on this, too, which I think is awesome. Continuing the story of Deadman wanting some answers from Rama, which is really cool. And Rama clearly lies right to his face.
Yeah.
And there's a nice set of panels in there.
Yeah.
And then Deadman wants some answers, and he... what do you say? He pulls a B&E on a supernatural bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ends up at one point on stage doing stand-up.
Yeah, this comic goes from A to B to F to D.
This is so great.
To be honest, Deadman jumps into other bodies, right? So it's almost like this comic is structured in a way that it's almost like as if you're in Deadman's shoes, so to speak, where you're jumping from scene to scene, trying to find answers. It's really entertaining. If you thought the first issue had too much philosophy, maybe, this still has a bit, but also throws in a lot of action as well.
This is
which I wasn't expecting.
And not only that, but it's funny. There's some really funny bits in it, because Boston Brand is, he's a regular dude who just happens to be an acrobat who now is the, Rama's messenger of whatever. But it's so great. It's such a fun book.
Yeah, and I'm actually curious about, Rama says something about time and gravity.
Yeah.
So I'm actually a little curious to see when exactly is Rama talking to Boston Brand. She says, go back for me.
Yep.
So is she at the end of time trying to find stuff, study back? I mean, there's a lot of interesting concepts in DC Universe Presents Deadman, and so far, really fun ride.
Just an excellent book. Up next, Supergirl. Supergirl, who really didn't do it for us last month, because it was all a bunch of smashing, and I can't handle the fact that I have crazy powers. Still going here, and
but she's choosing to smash against Superman.
Yep, she is choosing to smash against Superman. Much like a lot of people are in the real world. So she freaks out and punches Superman, and it's the whole issue is, again, punch, 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 I'm scared, punch, punch, I'm scared, punch. Oh, I can see through my hand, punch.
I've just seen it done before, but better.
I still uninterested, and really hate the boots with the exposed knees.
They haven't grown on you?
Not at all. They look like knee braces, and I don't think Supergirl needs knee braces.
The boots, for me, I don't really mind the boots, but it's more of the underwear, the triangle.
Sure, we know where to look.
Yeah, I guess it's a Target.
Who knows?
I don't know. I'm just finding that Supergirl's origin, like I said in the last review show where we reviewed Supergirl #1, it took its time with introducing her to our world, and this is kind of like, we don't want to go through that again, so we're just gonna, do a quick retelling of it.
And we will get to more of this week, but when an origin was that good to begin with, and well done, I understand it's necessary to put a stamp on your version of this. I think it's because all of the Superman books, because Superman has changed so drastically,
that everyone in his peripheral has to change as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's too bad. Superman is a book that I'm like, I'm on the fence right now, but Supergirl is a book that I kind of don't care about.
And I like the character of Supergirl, but it's just not doing it for me.
No. Up next, Blue Beetle. Speaking of origins that don't need to be changed, Blue Beetle. I have such a soft spot for Jaime Reyes. Jaime Reyes. I have such a soft spot for him. And while this is similar, it's more of an antagonistic relationship between him and the Scarab.
Yeah.
And the Reach is involved, and his friends don't know that he's the Blue Beetle, which are the big changes, really. Yeah. Great issue. Other than loving the original so much,
I think that's the problem. Is I'm finding it difficult to review this book because the original did it so well.
True, and I'd rather see Fun Jaime, because Fun Jaime was so much fun. Like when his buddies knew he was the Beetle, and his family knew he was the Beetle, and now it's like the Beetle is talking to him in English, saying, "Kill them, it's your job."
Yeah.
And it's not as fun as it is even on Batman Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, I think that, when they say sometimes to reboot something too soon?
Yeah.
It was doing so well the way it was, and it's not to say that Blue Beetle is a bad book for new readers.
No, not at all.
You can go on, but the original, it was just 4 years?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's still so fresh in our minds, and you're kind of pressing the reset button when he didn't really play its course properly.
He was one of the characters out of that whole 52 reboot and all that stuff that happened then. Of all the characters that have taken on a new mantle, legacy characters, he was the one that took off. There was going to be a TV show. They've tested footage of a Blue Beetle TV show. He's the breakout star of Brave and the Bold with Batman, the kids' cartoon. Kids love him, and you're changing him.
Yeah, I have to question the actual choice of doing that, because we have titles like Batman and Green Lantern that there has been some continuity that has continued over. And in the case of Blue Beetle, it's still so fresh that couldn't that have been one of those titles as well?
It absolutely could have been. Notwithstanding, this is a good book.
It's a good book. It's just the other book was so much better.
I know.
So, yes, still pick up the book, but
if you don't know anything about the old Blue Beetle, you'll love it. Up next, going back to space, Legion of Superheroes. Legion, which I love. The last issue kind of, I like it when it's space soap opera with a bunch of kids. But this book wasn't terrible this week. Not as bad as I had, in my head. I'm like, oh no, I love Legion, but last month was this picks up the war. That looks like there's going to be a Daxamite war, who are very much like Kryptonians, and lots of people show up, and lots of other things happen.
Dude, this is the 4th Legion book that I have read exclusively Legion.
Yeah.
I thought Legion Lost #1 was not good. I thought Legion #2 was.
Legion Lost #2.
Legion Lost #2. I thought Legion #1 was not good.
Yep.
And I don't think that this is good. I think it's every page I'm introduced to more characters that I don't know or care about.
Yeah, it's tough when the Legion has so many. It's a Legion. It has so many people in it, and you have to put those who's on every page.
Every page, there's more introductions, and you just, as a new reader to the Legion, I just can't even remember what I read you're introducing so many characters, but you're not putting them in a situation that is going to make me remember who they are.
No.
So, it's one of those things, again, as a new reader, why is this book aimed at new readers? I don't think it is. I think it's kind of, you're telling a different story, but you're not necessarily aiming it to new readers.
Right.
So, going into the book as a new reader, I'm finding it very disappointing. But hey, maybe if you are a Legion of Superheroes fan, you're right on board with another great adventure. I'm just not reading it that way.
Yeah. Up next, Green Lantern Corps. Are we Green Lanterned out?
Man, this is hard to say because Tomasi's one of my favorite writers.
The first book we read of Green Lantern Corps was so great, we lost our minds.
Yeah, I thought that the threat was just scary, and it was to count. You kind of felt the unease in the Green Lantern Corps. Tomasi had my book of the week last week with Batman and Robin #2. I was really looking forward to this book. I think it's a miss.
Yeah, it didn't really do anything for me. I love, Guy and John are two of my favorites. Love them, but with so many other lanterns with them, and the threat becoming, I guess, bigger.
I think I was disappointed with the reveal of the threat.
Well, yeah, me too, because last month it was this unknown zipping around thing that was lopping off heads and cutting bodies in half, and this week it's a bunch of guys with green swords.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I thought that it was they had such a great setup, and that this issue was all action and a little bit of story, but mostly defending, saving the planets, and I don't know, I just didn't feel this week's. No. Not to say it's a bad book, but it's not a great book.
No, and it's a bit of a letdown from last month.
A letdown, yeah. I think that's what we're feeling here.
Up next, oh no!
Can we even talk about this?
Are we allowed to speak about Red Hood and the Outlaws? A book that we loved and still do. #1 was great. Here's #2. Laughed out loud several times in this book.
A lot of great one-liners.
Tons of great one-liners.
And when we were reading all the hubbub over issue 1, I was like, but it's a comedy book.
It's funny.
I just didn't get all the anger.
I understand why people were upset, because of Starfire doing things that she never did before. She was never sexy before. She was never sleeping with a guy who was Robin before.
You're right.
She was never, overtly having all of her skin hang out. She was never like that before. Oh, wait. She was exactly like that before. Only now she's updated And I understand that people are upset with it. I understand that that thing that you love that is made up upset you. But you can always take solace in the fact that it's made up. Now, issue 2. Totally covered up here. She's just in a skirt and has a high collar, like just her legs, so relax.
But she still looks ridiculously hot.
And she does. And this book has some hilarious dialogue between Jason and Roy, and even Corey has a couple of good lines. It's just funny.
It's supposed, the tone of the book is like, you know, you can almost picture like Bill Murray. I know, like I'm naming comedians here, but it's like when you read it in that kind of vein with, you know, like Abbott and Costello,
yep.
like just that kind of buddy comedy with this alien that is obviously so far out of their league.
But she hangs out with them because they make her laugh, and they make me laugh too.
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be a guilty pleasure for me.
Oh, for sure.
But only because you guys make me feel guilty about liking it.
Oh, Internet. You make us feel guilty for liking Red Hood and the Outlaws.
But we do like it.
Oh, a lot. Up next. Oh, no. Oh, ooh, ouch, hot. Catwoman. Oh, the other book that people are so angry about. You know how it ended last time with her banging Batman? It's still happening. And guess what? She takes off. Thanks, Batman. I'm out. She's
again,
in charge.
This isn't even a guilty pleasure. I thought Catwoman #1 was amazing. I've had a lot of my female friends read the book, including my wife, and they all loved Catwoman #1. Catwoman #2, another great book.
It's great, man. There's that great moment where there's a preview online where she's at the party undercover, and she sees Bruce Wayne. No idea that Bruce Wayne's Batman, but Batman knows full well that that's Catwoman in disguise.
Just a fun, fast, witty.
It's so great. It's such a good comic. I really enjoyed it.
And I think, like, see, in books like these, this is where I think Judd Winnick shines, when he's allowed to have fun with the characters. Like in his Under the Red Hood, he was allowed to have fun with Black Mask and Deathstroke. And the lines that came out of that run was just amazing. And here's the same thing. He's allowed to have fun with the characters, and it shows.
Oh, yeah, it's such
and
a
spoilers,
fun book.
Catwoman has boobies.
Guys, listen. You can fight crime and have boobs. Ask Starfire, ask Catwoman, ask Wonder Woman.
It's okay.
It's totally okay. Here we go. Next Bat book, Nightwing. Nightwing, which was pretty good, from what I remember.
It was a great start.
Great start. It continues.
And it doesn't throw away all the history of what has come before.
Not at all. Even brings back some of that history with the circus.
Yeah.
Good news.
I really like that. I really like that thing with Higgins and Snyder combining the history of the Bat books, and kind of there's this underbelly that is perhaps unseen by our heroes. I really like that.
And for I do read a lot of comic book sites and Tumblr accounts. There's a great one out there called DC Women Kicking Ass. I love your site. I love your Tumblr account, and I love how and I'm saying this with a smile. I do love how you get very upset about Catwoman and Starfire being so sexualized, and then your next post is a shot of the best artwork ever of Dick Grayson's ass. So in this book, goes both ways. But you will love this particular book because he joins the Mile High Club. The Bat Boys
are scoring some.
Yeah, and will Damien grow up to be very handy with the ladies?
You know what? It's just the DC knew the heroes have sex.
I don't follow. You don't have to spell it. I can't.
It's okay. Let's go back to the writing though.
Yes.
Higgins also does Deathstroke.
Yeah.
I thought his Deathstroke was hit or miss, but I mean his Nightwing I really like. I really like the fact that he's going back to Haley's Circus, and there's going to be a reveal over what Haley's Circus really was. And again, it's the combination of what Snyder's doing in Batman with what Higgins is doing here in Nightwing. It's like there's an ancient evil.
It's a Bat book that I actually care about.
Yeah, it's good.
Speaking of, here's Batman coming up next for you. Batman, which is Snyder, and do not be intimidated by the amount of writing that you have to read. Reading in this book. Snyder's Batman once again knocks it out of the park. It's such a good book.
I'm so happy to be a Bat fan, especially this week. I mean, you got fun books like Red Hood, and Catwoman.
Yeah.
You've got fun and also kind of deep books with Nightwing and Batman, and then you have Batman number two, and then you've got stuff like Batgirl and Batwoman, who takes a whole other part of. Oh.
It's
a great time to be a Batman fan. On top of that, Arkham City was just released.
He's already playing it.
I've already played it. My God.
I have it in my bag.
It's amazing. Enough about Arkham City.
Batman
Snyder,
number 2. Nice work, pal.
Snyder. This is my book of the week.
Oh.
That's 2 times in a row Snyder's gotten my book of the week for Batman.
He only needs to write more books.
Wow. Like, it's just, I can't rave enough about it. Go out, pick up Batman number 2. I know a lot of you picked up Batman number 1 because it was the best-selling book last month. It's just continued great work. Bruce is amazing. There's a lot of Bruce Wayne fighting in this issue.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, just from the first page you read it, you turn it over, bang, you're right into the action. You're right into a Bat book. There's
a lot of Bruce Wayne this week in the Bat books.
Yeah, but you don't, because it's done so well, you don't.
It's just what I love is there's a lot of just Bruce, and then he throws on the costume, or maybe not. And
I can gush over Batman number 2. I can go into the details of what Snyder's done. Spoilers: they introduce a new a morgue machine that Batman can be in the Batcave while Gordon's in the morgue.
He's got like a holographic imager set up in the morgue, so it sends it to his place. Yeah. And also we get the threat of the Court of Owls. Which I'm hoping out of this comes an Owlman, because I really like Owlman as a character.
The Court of Owls is a spook, and the thing is the one thing Snyder's doing is Bruce is very confident that these people don't exist.
And here they are.
And here they are. And it's like Snyder's presenting Bruce with a threat that he doesn't see coming, that he doesn't think exists, and has been there longer than he has. And it's a great read.
It also makes me wonder if it will connect to the Skull Society in All-Star Western.
Like I said before, it's a great time to be a Bat fan.
Absolutely. Coming up next, Wonder Woman. I said while reading this that I could look at Cliff Chiang's art all day. I love the art in this book, and I love the story in this book. I love that people were bitching about the origin being changed, but here she is. She's still... The origin is she fashioned a girl out of clay, and then all of that baby came to life somehow. Well, the somehow is being explained.
Right. Well, they don't really explain.
No, they hint.
They hint. They strongly hint.
It's pretty great. Yeah. You go back to Paradise Island. You've got Hermes. You've got the Zola, who's pregnant with Zeus's baby, and Hera's pretty pissed.
Yeah.
Strife shows up. That's Strife. This is a really, really good book.
It is, and. Here's my thing with Azzarello's writing. I really can't judge it until I read the full arc.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know if I like it. I know it's different. I know he's a master at pacing and storytelling. But I still don't know whether I actually like this new take on Wonder Woman.
I know I do.
Yeah.
Because what I'm seeing I like. It's actually making me read it and making me get in there and very excited.
Yeah. And I think the one thing I can say that I like definitely are the character redesigns.
Yeah.
They are fresh and they're kind of, it's like a horror movie almost, like...
Hippolyta's blonde. The internet's gonna break. Oh my God.
Oh, jeez.
But it's great. Yeah. It's a very, very good book.
It's definitely a pickup.
And our last book of the week, Justice League, which we haven't seen since August. I'm angry about that. But here's Justice League, where we get... we actually get this cover. We actually get these people. Not the 7 that were on the last cover that didn't show up. These people are on there. We get Flash shows up this month.
Yep.
We get the threat of the mother boxes. Yep. We get, it looks like, the beginning of Cyborg.
Yep. It's definitely not the end.
No. We know how this turns out. And then we get this extra file in the back from Steve Trevor.
It says that in the file, spoilers, it says that Wonder Woman slit a kidnapper's throat. I don't know if you read that.
She's trouble.
But heroes kill in Wildstorm DC, I guess.
Guys, look at... have you seen this? Do you know about this? Do you know about this?
I know about it.
There's no underpants. But anyway, Justice League. Again, another story that I'm looking forward to reading the entire arc. But just these little episodes of it, I'm excited about. The fact that the mother boxes are there means Darkseid's coming. The Fourth World's still around. I'm excited about that.
Right.
The mother boxes being the beginning of the boom tube, which lets the parademons through. Very excited about that. They've got more stuff to fight, and they clearly can't do it alone. Yeah. This is a threat that is coming, and they can't do it by themselves, so it's time to gang up. But I also love the dialogue between Barry and Hal, who have clearly met before.
Yeah, and they've had adventures together, and I think that's where this Justice League #2 is strongest. See, for me, it's almost like it's weird because it feels like a sitcom.
Understood.
It's like this is the.
It's got the pacing of a sitcom.
It's got a pacing of a sitcom, right? It's almost like they're playing a lot of it for laughs.
May I call it Super Friends?
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, it actually feels a little bit like what you would see on a fast-paced comedy television show. How many weeks has it been since I last bitched about Superman?
0.
Okay, so is it too soon for me to bitch about Superman?
I know, he doesn't sound like Superman. He doesn't look like Superman. He doesn't do the things Superman does. Have you not read the comments on this YouTube channel? Buddy, you gotta lay off.
He's a petulant brat.
Yeah.
And my problem is when Batman's the one, guys.
Break it up.
Break it up. We gotta talk about this.
But when they do break it up and finally get to talk, which Batman wanted to do the whole time, I just want to talk to him.
When does Batman just want to talk?
You know, he's the voice of reason always. The level-headed Batman. Always, that's how he's known.
Yeah.
And then Hal has a fight, calls in Barry on his phone. Yeah. But I love when they're like hanging out and trying to, finally the four of them are talking. And they actually get together and, Bruce and Clark are chatting up at the front and then Hal's like, Barry, what say you and me just ditch these two losers and go solve this problem? Yeah. But it's clear they can't.
There's it's a different take on the Justice League. I think they're playing a lot of it for laughs, to be totally honest.
Right. I'm not opposed to that.
I'm not opposed to it either. It's fun. I don't act like, since I've accepted the fact that this is, Superman new Coke, I guess.
Is it going to be that big of a colossal failure? Is it going to be that bad?
I don't know. But, I'm accepting it for what it is. It's a little odd for me to see that Batman is now actually the hero that has to keep everyone in line.
I just thought how great it would be for you if when the JSA comes out in November, if Superman Classic is on the JLA or JSA of Earth 2. Old Superman Classic, underpants Superman. You guys remember me?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Justice League's a fun read.
It is.
It's fast-paced. You get to see all the not all the characters yet, but it's enjoyable. It may not be your Superman, or your Batman, or your Green Lantern, or your Flash, but it's kind of, Johns does a great job putting them all together in a fun read.
Hey, and this is the kind of thing that could end up being a movie. Weird, isn't it? Let's move on. It's time for our Red Tornado watch. There is no Red Tornado in this week's comics.
And now it's time for our books of the week.
Oh, boy.
And every week we each pick 6.
Okay, so for my 6, I'm going to pick Wonder Woman. I'm going to pick Batman. I'm going to go Justice League. What's that, 3?
That's 3.
I'm going to go Catwoman. I'm going to go Red Hood. And I am saying my book of the week is Deadman. Sorry. DC Universe Presents. I don't want to... If you're looking at them alphabetically, you're not going to find it under Deadman. You're going to find it under DC. It's in a different section.
What else we got?
Nightwing, Beetle, Soups, Birds of Prey, Cat and Atom.
Yeah, I agree with Nug's picks for the most part. I'm having issues with Wonder Woman right now because I think it's too soon for me to decide fully what I feel about the relaunch.
So you might put Nightwing in there.
I might put Nightwing instead of Wonder Woman, or Nightwing instead of Red Hood and the Outlaws. Even though I really loved it, Nightwing's also a very good book.
It is an excellent book. So if we could pick 7, Nightwing would be in there as well. But those are your books for this week.
It was a very strong week.
Excellent week.
We had a lot of fun reading it. Last week,
it was rough.
It was a little rough.
But we got some good books out of it.
Yeah.
But this week, excellent week. Go pick up your books. Thank you, Silver Snail, for letting us do this here. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Hey, do yourselves a favor. Send this video to some other nerds you know. And I say that because I'm a nerd. And I'll see you guys next week because I'm going to go home and start playing Arkham City.
Oh, yeah, me too. And if you haven't gone out to buy it,
strongly recommended. Is Red Tornado in it?